As of now, COVID-19 has claimed roughly 3.5 million lives. But where did it come from? The answer might shock you. We're also going to talk about a new and upcoming band. I'm Joe.
I'm Josh.
You've got questions?
You're feeling grounded.
Welcome to Feeling Grounded with your hosts, Josh and Joe.
Welcome to.
Should make it like a lo-fi beat of that.
Ooh, I was just watching a lo-fi tutorial.
Yeah. We could totally make an album.
Production. Oh, definitely. Let's do it. Why don't we wait? Okay, hold on. Why have we never done this? My producer chops are like gonna be through the roof, bro.
You could make the beats and like we'll both like share guitar duties. I'll get the bass going.
You can do yeah. You can do the instruments. I'm more than happy to do
the mixing. Okay.
Just production, mixing, mastering, beats, whatever you need.
We need like a few people to come in as guest vocals and say the most randomest things. It'll be experimental.
Yeah. Oh, Claire. And
like, why would you burn the pasta? And then it just goes back into.
Yeah. Just like really slow, like synthwave chords over top of a cute drum beat.
Speaking of synthwaves, have you heard of John Mayer's new single yet from yesterday?
I saw that it was out. I haven't listened to it yet.
It's very Toto meets Toto's Africa. Okay. Very reminiscent of that. It's not my favorite John Mayer single, but I love the tone of his PRS Silver Sky. I'm excited for what's coming out in July.
I have to say, I was shocked with John Mayer because my whole life I just heard the typical songs that were on the radio, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's just like a creep or something, like weird."
He did have some ego moments, yes.
But then I never realized that he was a good guitarist because I feel like his good guitar songs were not on the radio. Like it was just like these stupid, like Bodies of Wonderland or whatever.
Yeah. If you go to his concerts, all the girls like just love those early songs, such as Your Body's a Wonderland.
But then like 3 years ago, I realized that he's like an amazing blues guitarist, like amazing blues guitarist. So I like binged all of his stuff and kind of realized that he's actually pretty talented.
He is pretty talented.
I mean, he's a little bit of a douche, but he's still he's very talented.
He called himself five or 6 years ago a recovering ego addict. He seems better now, but of course we don't know him now. He's living in Montana, and I've got a soft spot for people in Montana.
I just thought, Claire and I, last night, this is so funny.
Yeah.
We were like, why don't we move to Montana? And then the other day, we were watching, we never moved there because she hates winter, and they have really bad winters.
Yeah.
But we were watching a Yellowstone documentary, and I didn't realize that Yellowstone is in Montana.
You should go see, Yellowstone's in Wyoming, but it's like right on the border. Yeah. Okay. But honestly, I've seen the crystal caves or the stalagmites in Montana. Go travel through like the little caves, and I was like tight, just like it reminded me of like this old horror movie from like the mid 2000s, The Descent. When I go in there, like it would be completely dark if they didn't have those lights in there. But I went with a group, just alone on my own, and it just so happens it reminded me, and I was kind of cringing a lot when trying to like crawl through these tight spaces. You have in the movie, you have these creatures that are blind, and they just start murdering the group of girls, picking them off one by one. And it doesn't happen. It does not happen until like an hour into the movie, and it just throws me for a whirlwind. I was just like, I just thought they were going to get trapped in like this, like, and just try to like get themselves out. I didn't think there were going to be like creatures in there.
Yeah. Creepy.
It was pretty good. And then The Descent Part 2, not so good.
Yeah, never heard of that. The dream, Joe. I want to live on a nice house with peaks, a front porch, maybe a wraparound porch, okay, with a red door on the top of a hill with a long driveway that drives up to the house, and there's a view of mountains. That's the dream. That's the dream.
How far are you away from the town, from the
Very
civilization?
Far.
Very far.
Very far.
How would you get to your local Walmart?
We would grow food. No, we would just drive there, I guess. But I like literally, okay, this is kind of crazy. A couple months ago, Claire and I were on this idea of like getting a homestead. Just came out of the blue. We're like, why don't we just become farmers? Let's just leave everything and have our own homestead. I was like, oh, you can't really just leave and do that. So
Have Eli, the rest of the kids work as farmers.
yeah, there you go.
I can see like the straw in his mouth.
Overalls.
Buck tooth. I'm sorry.
Oh, they probably buck teeth. Okay. Well, Joe, how you doing, man? This is like a long aside.
I'm cool. I'm feeling good.
We just saw each other like 5 days ago.
5 days ago, yeah, for Memorial Day.
In person, which was so cool.
Yeah, it was good to finally have a in-person episode. Try to make that cool. An occasional thing, for sure.
Tweak it the next time that it happens.
We had some audio issues, people, so we apologize for that. We were troubleshooting, and it just so happens that some parts were good, some parts were other. Depending on your audio preferences, we might have some audio files be like, I'm not listening to this.
Yeah, which was my wife. My wife did that, actually. She was like, I can't hear out of my house. So next time we'll be at my house, which in the future will be a studio. And we'll have a long table with boom arms, and we'll be legit. Nice cameras.
We are going to be legit. We already are legit. We're at episode 11 right now.
I know. How about that? Crazy.
Is 11 a lucky number, or is 14 a lucky number because it's multiples of 7?
I don't know. I never thought of that. 11 is a multiple of 7?
Yeah, like maybe if you put 11, it's like 11, make a wish. It is a lucky number. Whatever is lucky if you make it.
So our 1,000th, 100th, and 11th episode will be really lucky.
When we're like...
How many years is that if we did it?
Once a week.
Once a week. And we had 1,000 episodes. That's like
1,000 weeks?
So well, it's like 5,000 weeks, right?
5,000 weeks.
Or
5,000 weeks from now. Search it up. Today.
Well, 10 years, right? My math is not working right now.
2,117.
Oh yeah, well I guess. Well, no, it wouldn't be 5,000. It would be
5,000 weeks.
Wait, hold on here. This is kind of dumb. So, if our 1,000th episode will be 1,000 weeks, right? Because we do one once a week. So, well, it would be 900.
Oh, it says it'll be August. Not August. 1,000 weeks from now. It will be August 4th, 2040.
Oh, so it's just 19 years.
Crazy.
So I'll be, well, I guess I shouldn't say my age, but how about that? We can make it happen. Let's go to 1,000. You know, this is what we'll do. We will go. I can't say we're going to 1,000. That's a lot. That's a big commitment. Yeah, I'm just happy we made it to 11.
Yeah, me too. Cheers to all you people listening or watching.
Clink.
Clink.
It's time for Happy Crappy.
All right, let's start off with a crappy first. Let's get the negative out of the way.
Sure.
So I've had later nights in the beginning of this week, mostly because I was traveling back from that Memorial Day party too, which wasn't terrible. I like to settle in, and I really didn't get that for the end of the week. But, you know, there were some good things, especially. But having to wake up early again, and then it's been difficult. Plus, it's been kind of hot, and I don't like turning on the AC and spending money for that. So I'd have to turn the fans on. There's that initial, it's sweltering. Turn the fan on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a process.
I'm the loser that just doesn't care. I have the AC running like all the time. But that's my own life. Because I hate heat. If I'm sweating, I am angry and I'm nasty.
Are you a cold shower guy?
I am during the summer. But well, let me say this. I'm not when I exercise, and I've been back to the gym, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm really sweaty and gross, because you gotta get clean, you know, and that's how you get clean with the hot water because it kills bacteria.
Yeah.
Cold water doesn't do anything. So if I need to cool down, I'll jump in, do a little cold shower.
It's interesting you say like people regularly do cold showers. Like I haven't done a hot shower in 3 years.
Well, did I tell you about that Exodus 90 thing that I did with a couple other guys this year.
No,
And when
tell
we
me.
did that, you had to take a cold shower. So it was 90 days, 3 months, January to Easter. There's like really intense limitations. Like you can't eat junk food, you can't snack, you can't drink anything other than milk and water and coffee. You have to exercise daily. You have to get rid of all technology, no video games, no phone, no laptop, no TV, no movies, no anything. No, we didn't do it as
except for
stringent.
work, right?
Yeah, except for like work stuff. And then you had to take cold showers every day, and whenever you took a shower. And then I think that was pretty much it. So the idea is just to kind of like reset yourself, because 90 days is like the time that you need to like form a habit. And so if you're struggling with something, and then it helps you after 90 days. So like a bunch of guys did it with me. And I was a little more, I didn't do it as stringently, because for me, it's like I want to be joyful. And so if I'm removing things that like give me an outlet, like for example, video games, like I didn't remove all video games. I just would play once a week.
Okay.
So that I still had that time when I could like decompress. And
so you modified it. Yeah.
Yeah. So just put like Skyrim on and just play a game for a while.
Sure. But
it was nice. No, I didn't do the cold showers either, because I was working out at the time, and I get really crampy if I don't get hot showers when I'm exercising. Anyways.
Give me a crappy.
Oh yeah. So yours was long late nights, and then hot.
Late nights at the beginning of the week.
Beginning of the week, and then hot.
And it was kind of hot, yeah, and trying to get the process of like trying to figure out. I opened the windows at this time because right now, if you can see, it looks like, you ever imagine heaven? Like, like the white behind me, it's like, something's happening, the rapture.
You're getting sucked in.
Yeah, and that's the sun hitting. I mean, the sun isn't directly behind me, not yet, until the afternoon. That's when it gets uncomfortably hot. So you have to bring open the windows, because I like the breeze, but you don't want to have the windows too often.
Yeah. Was one of your late nights because of the video? You had to edit the video?
Not terribly. I finished the editing for that video around like 9:30 on the Tuesday beforehand. So I worked it out.
I had some hardcore struggles with that. It was like so frustrating. I tried to upload those videos that we took. It was like such a nightmare. I ran out of data on my phone, and then the Wi-Fi here wasn't working. So I tried to like upload it, and it took forever. And then finally I just did it at the Werner's house. I like hooked into the modem with a hyperlink.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just sat there and uploaded it for however long it was.
You're just like looking at it like, please,
let
me go home.
I was angry by the end of that there, but it's okay.
Have I ever seen you actually like full on angry before?
No.
I've never have.
And you probably won't, because you make me happy, Joe. You bring
Speaking
joy.
of happy crappy.
My hat, crappy. Sorry.
Oh no, I didn't even know you did it. No,
I didn't. My kids were sick again, which is annoying because everyone's home.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of people, you kind of experience them a little bit. It was a rough week. They did not sleep well. They didn't really nap well, and they've been throwing up like crazy. Not because of stomach nausea or anything, just because they're gagging on mucus.
Plus, it's hot too. I wonder if that could have affected that.
Yeah, so they're just my kids are a mess. Today they were better. My twins were good, but Eli has been struggling. So hopefully by the end of this weekend, he will be better, and all my kids will be better.
Yeah.
So that's my crappy. Sick kids. Oh man. Happy.
Poor kid. Happy. So the happy was the Memorial Day party that I was with you guys.
Mine too. That's my happy too.
What was your favorite part about the Memorial Day party, other than the filming, of course?
Yeah, I would say probably the filming. But
the filming, okay.
Playing spikeball with you, with you and Emma or Celia. And whose part was Emma?
Yeah, Emma and Celia. Yeah, Emma was my partner, and she. I don't know if they got annoyed that I came up with random rules, because I did not know the rules and could not retain them.
They loved it. It was very funny. Yeah, it was really silly. Appreciated that.
So you win when you.
No, you changed change. What was it? You serve. Change. I can't remember.
You change positions when you buy a house. You change positions when you
Have a mortgage. Have a steady income.
So none of you girls switch because they weren't old enough yet.
Right. Exactly.
Steady income. I don't know if they have a steady income. I'm not judging.
I don't know. I can tell you that.
If
So
you girls,
Celia's getting paid to go to college, go to grad school. Like she doesn't have any bills. She like scored this internship and she's making bank while doing what she's doing.
a paid internship, that's not really common anymore now.
No, it's not. Especially how much she's making. She's making more than I am.
Oh wow.
Which is makes me feel bad about my job.
As long as she doesn't gloat. She seems like the gloating type. If you're listening, Celia, I'm just making fun of you.
No, she's not. She's silly.
She's Celia.
Nice.
Ba-boom!
Sister-in-law.
The future is inevitable, but let's travel back in time.
All right, Joe, what do you got for timeline today, brother?
So what I have Wednesday.
Actually, sorry. Let me go first.
Okay.
Yours is better than mine.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, I'm positive. Sorry, I don't mean to like cut you off there.
Oh, that's all right.
Because yours is much more interesting than mine.
Okay.
I want to talk about yours. So, I feel mean. Does that mean? I'm sorry, I cut you off. I didn't mean it. Okay.
Like a little
I
kid
did
crying.
mean it, but
like a little kid crying at like a candy store. I can't get...
All right, so June 9th, 1934 was the first time Donald Duck ever made an appearance. That's it. So go ahead.
Do you remember what it was called? Was it?
He was.
Okay. So if you guys in the comments, please let us know where this came from. What where
Disney
is
freaks?
Yeah, not a fan of Disney. No much, no more.
Mm-mm.
Of course, I would go to Disney World for the classic stuff. Hopefully, that will never be tampered with. But you know,
I don't know the way they're doing it. That's they're destroying everything.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But enough on that note.
Wait, let me just interrupt you one more time.
Speaking of, you actually have to.
No, I'm not going to.
Speaking of Disney right now, did you see the new Cruella movie?
No, I'm not going to watch it.
I agree. Neither will I, because this is my thought. And before I go into my timeline, because apparently financially it's bombing compared to A Quiet Place 2, because no one wants a sympathetic villain of a villain that skins dogs.
I know. Why did they ever think this was a good idea? This is the
I don't know.
thing.
It's very odd, and
they're
of people...
like trying to show something about women and how they're affected.
And that's all fine and good. That's all fine and good. But like, do it for another piece of art, because like Cruella is not
to try to make a horrible person look. You feel bad about that.
Exactly.
Like,
you can't make a person with that type of history and that type redeemable.
Yeah, and I'm nothing wrong with like making women empowered and all that stuff. I think that's great. But there's ways to do it, and Disney does it all wrong. They do it all wrong. Every aspect.
They used to do it. They used to do it incredibly well. I.e., Mulan, the original.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That was good. That was good. Definitely. Yeah, where it's not so like.
I was all about that.
Punching people in the face with the like reality that women are the greatest thing ever, and they don't need any training. They have to be perfect, and if they're not perfect, then that's it. Like. Like the new Mulan and the Star Wars with Rey and like all this stuff is just like there's always a buildup. There's training. There's like realizations. There's motives and all this stuff, and you can't just like.
And it's what makes it. It makes it relatable for any person, guy and girl.
Yeah, it makes it real.
Yeah, and that's the true test of strength and relatability, because a lot of people, no one is ever perfect.
Right. I think the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings did it awesome. It was so good.
Yeah, with Eowyn.
Yeah, like that's how you do it. You just show them an amazing character who does something really cool, and then just says she's a woman. Like,
I just got a notification on my phone just as you were saying Lord of the Rings. It's not listening, I swear, because it's in headphones. But apparently Amazon's new Lord of the Rings, apparently they're going to do away a lot with that type of stuff that you just mentioned. The new Amazon show, but I know nothing about that, so I'm sure we'll learn more about that and review it on Feeling Grounded podcast whenever it does come out.
Yeah.
But you've got a good point. You've got a good point, and we'll see how this goes into the.
And they're doing it with Marvel too. I hate it.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I'm not following Marvel because I feel like they ended on a high note with Endgame.
Yeah, that's how I am
And
too.
and the only thing I'll probably watch is Spider-Man 3 with hopefully Tobey Maguire, because that's really all I see myself loving at this point. Because too much of a good thing is it won't become a good thing anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, timeline.
Sorry, I'm very ranty today.
I mean, I'm very talkative today. You make me talkative today, Josh. So what I have, June 9th, 1949. George Orwell's 1984. It's published. So have you read 1984?
I've read parts of it.
Okay.
I loved it. I love the idea.
I remember reading it for summer reading, and it was wonderful. It was a really big dose of like what could happen. They even came out with a movie in 1984, fitting, but it's set in a future Great Britain, in like a totalitarian state. Without giving like too much other detail, the themes that it goes through are that we say today in pop culture, thought crimes, thought police, newspeak, and even like the most popular one is Big Brother. Big Brother's always watching you. Especially in this age of technology, which, we'd never even thought that it would see the light of day back then. We always had dreams of grandeur, but we are living it today.
Definitely.
And anything mentioned as Orwellian today, it talks about something restrictive, or, damaging to, free thinking society, which could be taken a host of definitions,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really is jarring when you like read that book and you look at our world today. It's like, ugh.
There are rhymes. It's very very much rhyming.
And
it's
no
cool. It's
one's
cool.
smart enough to see this. Like,
What's it? Yeah, it's interesting. You said nobody sees this because people on the left say that the right is doing this, but people on the right also are saying the left is doing this. When in reality, I think Orwell was trying to say, I'm not criticizing both sides. I'm criticizing us becoming a totalitarian state. And both sides are a representation of each other.
Yeah, exactly. Just politicians in general. Doesn't matter what side that they're on or what they believe. It's how they act and yeah, I don't know.
And there are so many pop culture references that borrow 1984. And one thing that was cool, I was going to do a clip of this, but there's a scene in the movie which represents it so well, and it represents Twitter, which we do not have, and Feeling Grounded probably won't have. But it shows 2 minutes hate, where people are watching like a movie screen and just are saying like, that guy's a traitor, like just, and getting like so fed up without knowing the context of a situation for 2 minutes. It's just without giving too much away, it's very much representative of what we see online these days.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how much he predicted to be the reality of our world today. Twitter is a cesspool of garbage.
Yeah, it's the armpit of society. No, not armpit. Maybe the diarrhea of America. The diarrhea. Toilet.
I second that.
Entertainment. Where's the entertainment, guys?
All right, Joe. So what have you been listening to, my brother? What is like
some
stuff
for music other than John Mayer, which we talked about before? I think what's even better than John Mayer recently, of course, John Mayer is gold standard as far as new guitarist goes, but one YouTube channel that I've been following for a number of years is Chris Buck. He is he's a British guitarist. I forget what part of Great Britain he has come from. But he has been on the YouTube scene and even the guitar scene for quite a number of years too. And I've only been seeing him for just a couple of years. And I'd really like to see him live if ever he came to the States or if ever I go back to Great Britain. He just reformed actually, because they were together for quite a few years, Cardinal Black. They were together for about 10 years. I guess they were on hiatus, and then they got back together, and they had released as a single about 4 or 5 weeks ago a song called Tell Me How It Feels. And that song sparked just a lot of just positivity from the guitar scene, and it actually went straight up to #1 on the iTunes charts, knocking Noel Gallagher's most recent song off the charts. And then they just released their single Jump In yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Buck is an incredible guitar player.
Yeah, I can tell just from listening to them. So I listened to them this morning. I haven't heard of these people or this band or that guy before. Right. I was really impressed. I was really impressed. The thing about really good guitarists is they have amazing melodies and then also space in their playing because of arpeggios and different things, and it's the coolest sound. Like, I love that sound when people utilize like good arpeggios in their playing, when you just kind of break up a chord. So an arpeggio is just when you just, for our listeners, that when you break up a chord in the 3 individual notes and you play them differently on the neck of the guitar, and you kind of move them around in different positions and inversions,
combinations.
It really opens up guitar play, and it makes it really beautiful. And I like to say open, like spacious.
Yeah.
Kind of gives it this like big open feel. And he's that to a T. He's a great player.
Another thing, he plays fast when he needs to. This is something that I truly appreciate in a guitar player, or even somebody who's just playing an instrument in general, where they allow the music to take space. They don't take up too much space, especially in the solo of Tell Me How It Feels, which we'll react to, check out on our Patreon page. That solo in the middle of the song, he doesn't overplay. He just allows the rest of the song just playing with feel. He just allows it to set its natural course, building tension is what I'm trying to say, is gradually going up the neck to make you feel a sense of relief at the very end. That's the best way to put it.
He like really serves the song. You know, he knows what the song deserves. So instead of it being like a shredding or like flying up and down and doing all these, flashy things, he knows what the song needs, and he does exactly that.
Speaking of which, with that solo, he came out on his YouTube channel because he does this thing every Friday called Friday Fretworks, where he talks about maybe a certain guitar or effects pedal or a certain solo that another artist or himself came out with to give a tutorial. Really cool series that he's been doing for quite a long time. It's enjoyable to watch his journey. But he came out with an announcement about that song, Tell Me How It Feels, and did a competition, which I myself entered just because I thought it was fun. It was my first time ever doing a competition for this, where you have to hashtag Cardinal Black Solo Challenge, something like that, where people put their own versions or copy his solo. I don't know who does that, where they put their own version of the solo where he put a backing track on, and you upload it, hashtag Tell Me How Cardinal Black Solo Challenge. And the amount of people that put their own thing on that, it's very admirable. But a lot of people, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but they've either overplayed or, weren't using those inversions that you were talking about, building tension. I mean, some other person, if they look me up, they might say, you weren't doing what you told, you hypocrite. I don't know. A lot of people have their own opinions.
Is there a way we can listen to your solo? Because I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I can pull it up. What I did before, I recorded it because you had about 2 weeks to submit your stuff on Instagram or YouTube, whatever the heck, as long as you tagged it, I guess. So the band could see it and Chris could see it too. what I did was the day before you had to submit it because it had to be on London time. I tabbed it out the day before because when I heard that Chris tabs out his solos beforehand and works on them, he says it because they're human. It's not like they come up with all these solos on the spot. I'm like, that gives me some confidence that I can tab it out too. I can do this. So I tabbed it out the day before and I felt comfortable and I listened to it like while at work a couple of times just to see, is there anything that I want to change? And I did change a couple phrases. I'm looking at the tab that I had there right now. It's still over there, which I didn't change yet. But then I recorded it with the Ibanez Tube Screamer, and nice. It was good. It was good to put that in. I felt fulfilled. I've never done that before.
That's great, man. Yeah, I'm really happy that you did that. It's a good idea to tap things out because if you're working on a bunch of stuff, you're working on like a whole album, it's hard to remember sometimes like what you did. I mean, I'm thinking of like rock bands, it's a great example. Like, how do you remember all of your phrasing, like all these little things, unless you just do it over and over and over and over and over again and just get it memorized through all the takes that you do. But so like me, for example, like the stuff that I've written and thrown up, I can't do the solos again that I played, just because I don't play like that. I just monkey around. But it's better to write out. So that's really cool that you did that.
Thank you, man.
Serving the song. So what key was that in?
I think it's in the key of C sharp minor, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. Awesome. So so listeners, check him out. If you're into guitar music, check out what's his name? Chris Buck, right?
Chris Buck, yeah.
On YouTube, subscribe to his stuff, check him out, see what you think. I checked out a couple of his Friday Fretworks video, and I thought they were really cool. So I'm definitely gonna keep listening to him.
It's really enjoyable watching him because I love his collab. He played with Slash too. I like playing with.
It's very inspirational. It's inspirational. Gets
Gets
those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Cardinal Black comes out with following this, whether it be more singles or a full length album.
Yeah, that one that they just dropped yesterday, I love that song.
Jump In was gorgeous, and it was serving the song.
Yeah, exactly that. The kind of the slow, kind of chill vibes. I'm all into that.
Yeah, them playing on a rooftop was actually a nice added touch when they added that music video.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's time for the news.
Joe, do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic when people were like, yo, this was leaked out of a Wuhan lab? And then if you ever said that, everyone was like, you're a conspirator, you're an idiot, you should feel bad about yourself. Remember that?
Yeah. It was all over. Even back in February, before lockdowns had come about, people also said that, COVID was or they called it coronavirus back then. Or as some say, because in YouTube you were censored for saying it, they called it the beer bug. People said that it was a bioweapon.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more and more that this idea could potentially be true.
Yeah, it's now coming to be mainstream on some of those mainstream channels, Fox, CNN. Watching both and trying to keep an eye on both sides because that's what we try to do on Feeling Grounded podcast.
Realizing that everyone sucks.
Yeah.
Everyone is biased. Everyone's horrible.
Nearly a year and a half since COVID-19 was shown to be, they're propping up that it came from the city of Wuhan. That's what we started to see at the wet market where the first cases popped up. And then apparently back in the day when lockdowns began, the claim that it came from a Chinese lab was dismissed as some conspiracy is now gaining traction. First cases, like we said before, came in a cluster of infections out of the wet market, a few kilometers from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Only a few kilometers. Like you see this now that we're talking mainstream, and all of these people say, "Come on, a few kilometers away. Like what's going on here?" And then, wasn't it promoted by President Trump too?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said something about it. Yeah.
Okay.
He believed this would be true. He said a lot of weird things in his last days in office.
Yeah. Agreed. The theory that it came from, like there are a couple theories. Like obviously it came from like the wet market, from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. There's also that what we were told for months and months and months that it was unaltered from the wild, from bats, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I heard it was all the wet market. That's what I believe.
Okay.
From the very beginning, people said it came from bats that people bought and ate from the wet market, and then it caused it to spread or something.
Yeah. There's one other theory that I'm not sure how much traction it gained, but it came from another animal, like some intermediary host before coming bat to human, that we don't know of. But theory-wise, I don't know. I don't know much detail as far as that goes, but it's interesting to see China's reaction to this.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems that the coffee's really getting to me. China believes that the U.S. media is spreading these rumors.
Spreading these rumors.
Yes, I sound like a little kid. Spreading these rumors. Is spreading these rumors, but ultimately, based on this news, it puts people in a perspective what we do or do not trust.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's everything, right? I mean, with all of this, is something that we've seen. God, I hate this time. This was like the worst time. 2020 was like the worst.
Yeah.
Because everyone jumped to the internet because no one could go anywhere else. And then everyone just believed everything. And there's no truth. Like the truth just got muddied and all these like rumors and thoughts and feelings. And everyone was kind of chiming in on all these things, and no one knew what was true, and everyone was attacking everybody for believing whatever. And then this divisiveness, everyone just divided, and everyone believed whatever they wanted to believe, and the truth was completely muddled in it. I always think about that scene from The Office.
Yeah.
When Michael gossips about Stanley, and then he muddies the water, and then he just tells all these awful lies about everyone just to make it seem like oh, it's like
where they came from.
Yeah, exactly. Because they didn't know. It's just to make sure that people didn't hear that truth. And that's what this is. It's like everyone is just like yelling at each other about these stupid ideas, and there's one truth in there, and they're all these other things are lies, and then everyone just believes whatever the hell they want to believe, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy
without any basis. I mean, they have like some skepticism, of course, and you can go as far as you can with that. But anywho.
I mean, when you hear that there's a lab in China where they are developing viruses, right?
Yeah, and then whether it's for the purpose of actually breaking it, yes.
Like if you hear this, and then that location, there's a virus breakout. I mean, that seems pretty clear to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a scientist, but. That's what. And then they were able to respond. Did you notice how quick they were to like respond and to get rid of this thing over there? Yeah. Like it was fast. They immediately acted. They put everyone in lockdown. Like all this stuff. They didn't know anything that we did, but it was gone by the time we were dealing with it here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Whether they fudge their numbers, because there are reports that like they're not telling us the full truth. You have those people online saying that too, and fair enough. Like.
Well, I mean, there's truth to that. I mean, we're doing that too. Like everyone's fudging the numbers.
Fudging the numbers, yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, I was talking to an HR member of a big hospital here where I am. And she said, you know what? We are billing every death and saying every death is a COVID death. Every single death, regardless of
if they had it or not. Wow.
But they're saying that because of the legislation that went in that said that they would receive grants and they would receive money based on deaths that were happening in the hospitals, because nobody was going in for sick visits, nobody was going in for the surgeries, nobody's going in for anything. So they got more money if they chalked every death up to a COVID death.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Freaky virus, man.
I know.
People are freakier from what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's why you can't believe anything. And that's the problem with this time right now is there's literally no truth. There's no clarity. Everyone's lying about everything.
Yeah.
And then the one truth that's out there it sounds like stupid when people say it because everyone, is so aggressive about these things.
Trying to save face.
Yeah, there's no discussion. There's no like level-headedness. Everyone just is like angry.
Yeah, and we're not saying, like, for people listening that we know all that it did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, there's obviously a chance that maybe it didn't come from the Institute of Virology. It just says it's all circumstantial, and if you put it in a court of law, they would say it's all circumstantial too, unless you had some type of data. But you've got your suspicion, and people have every right to the suspicion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the UN is doing this big research right now. Investigation
sure.
in China, and they're checking everything out because everyone has heard this, and they're trying to see if this is true or not.
Because it affected the world.
Like it could be, yeah.
Affected the world.
And then if it is true, they're gonna pay for it. There's gonna be reparations, and China's gonna get my vacation back.
You were planning on going to China? But China's been accused of hiding vital info for early in the pandemic. Sure, and it hurts our relations with them even now. Looking back on several, YouTube live streams, the like to dislike ratio involving Fauci it's ratio to hell. Because all those dislikes, because it's like we said about trust, they don't seem to trust our head of infectious diseases.
Yeah,
Crazy.
That's the other thing. He's very political too. That's a problem. As soon as people get into,
but everybody was glued to their TV when we first started this lockdown.
Yeah, I was weird because I don't know. I was listening what he was saying, but he kept going back on stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to listen to the president. I just wanted to listen to what Fauci was saying, and then. What did he do? He said you don't have to wear a mask at the beginning, but then went back on that, and then you need one, and then it became double mask.
Double mask. It was like, what? And now you have states like Texas and Florida that have been free for a long time, and it's like it's completely okay. It's so hard to like fathom this stuff because you can't trust people, and that's why.
And we should trust
and we should. I should be able to trust the head of the health department in our country. The fact that I feel like I can't because of lies and political stuff and just ignorance, like it's hard. That's hard. It's a shame. So then what do? We
it's a huge cultural shift. This was a big year, 2020. It's going to be a huge cultural shift, and honestly, nobody knows where this is. Not even your fortune tellers will be able to tell you what is happening. I don't believe in fortune tellers. That's just me. But even like your best people that are able to predict the future will not be able to, because we've never seen something like this before. I mean, obviously we've had a pandemic before, but never politically charged as it is now.
I know. It's insane. It really is. I think a lot of this has to do with just the fact that we are not. People make idols out of politicians.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And like politics in general, in our country especially. If this is like the peak of our focus and attention is on these corrupt men that are somehow have power. It is like tipping the scales a bit, so that see what am I trying to say here? My thought is evading me. The very fact that people hold politicians as like the focus, right? So say that I'm someone who's just dedicated to the news, and I'm like in all this stuff, and I know all these things, and I'm like focusing so much on what's happening. And that's what it's like becoming my God almost, where like everything is like dedicated to this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing things that are counter to what I'm believing or what I'm seeing and the people that I think that I trust. And now there's all of this discussion and everyone's hating and blasting and all this stuff that my life is like a mess because of this.
It's an incredibly tumultuous relationship because you can't get satisfaction from it.
Right. And how it should be is I should be separated. Now, not to the point where I'm not electing people or I'm not like in the know of what's happening, but I shouldn't be like an idol in my life, because that's just stupid and it's unhealthy and it destroys you.
And it eats away at your soul.
Yeah. You think about like older people who are either crazy conservative or crazy like liberal, and their whole life is like dedicated to these concepts and these ideas and these movements and these politicians, and they're like so engrossed in this stuff that they can't see anything clearly, and they have no ability to like think about like even
and able to delegate and have a conversation with other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because it makes it's impossible to have conversation with these people. And the thing is we're seeing this everywhere. Everyone's an extremist.
Yeah.
Like everyone's beliefs, if they have beliefs and they make it vocal, they're insane.
Yeah, that too. And it's come into armed conflict too. It has come into,
Just a shame.
Which if there's any prediction, I don't know if I see that any point abating at any time soon. And that's the scary thing about it, because if that's the case and you say that everybody's an extremist, which I believe a lot of, maybe not everybody, it's a really scary thought, because if everybody's an extremist and a lot of people will be a part of this armed conflict, you're going to start seeing fighting in the streets block by block.
I mean, how much has
not to be fear mongering, but it's just that's just something that I thought about.
There's a reality to this, right? The more and more that you separate yourself from objective morality, the more and more that you separate yourself from the reality of who you are as an individual, as opposed to someone who's like defined by your beliefs, like defined by your political stance, defined by these politicians that you agree with. Like, why wouldn't they do that? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So if I'm so far gone that I'm lost in politics, if I'm lost in these movements, the second that there is people up in arms, why wouldn't I join? Because I have no concept of that reality that I am made for a much higher purpose, a much greater purpose, meant to serve something much greater than myself. Yeah. And you know what I'm trying to say? Sure. It's kind of difficult for me to phrase this. I have an idea that's like trying to like get its way out, you know, and it's tricky, but yeah, and that's why we're seeing such violence now. I mean, just in this year alone, it's, you know, gun violence has like shot through the roof
on both sides, and it's not how we should act, because ultimately we are going to be reaping what we sow. And I don't know what that means. It's custom for each individual person, but you live with your mistakes, and that's ultimately what, like I said about eating away at your soul. I think a lot of people genuinely are good people, but it's what we do that defines us.
Yeah, exactly that. And if you, let's see. What we believe as good men, as moral Christians, is that I am made for God and by God to serve him and love him, to know him. Yeah. I'm not made to serve politicians. I'm not made to serve, you know, the popular opinion. I'm made to serve God, to serve the goodness of humanity, right? Yeah. And it's not to be violent. It's not to shoot people down in the streets who feel differently than I am. It's not to bully other people. It's to love, to know, and to serve humanity.
And if you can't agree with them, at least meet them where we're at and empathize.
Yeah, and come to some kind of middle ground. Obviously, no one's going to agree with you 100% all the time. But
because it's a reflection of we've all got different values.
Yeah. And that's the problem with today, is everyone is their own God, and their worship is these ideas. Political landscape, the coronavirus, like all these things, these are the things that they're worshiping and their attention is on. And then when these things get broken, their deity is broken. And so they have to respond violently because that's all they know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, it's just something to think about, because no one's moral anymore. Nope.
Yep. Incredibly broken.
We had a priest on last time, so I think it's okay for me to say that we're Christians.
So what we want you all to do right now is subscribe to Feeling Grounded Podcast, like the video, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Also, check us out on other mediums, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We also have Amazon Music and Audible. And if you guys haven't already, check us out on Patreon and our Instagram channel at Feeling Grounded Podcast. At any medium that you can find, hopefully YouTube, we check out all of them actually. On this video, ask us a question about anything. That's why it's You've Got Questions, You're Feeling Grounded. Even if you don't know what that means, ask us a question about anything. Like, give me a question, Josh.
Why'd you wear a gray shirt today?
Yeah, why did we both wear a gray shirt today? We didn't plan it. Or did we? Please ask us.
Yeah, you never know unless you ask.
All right, you got questions?
You're feeling grounded.